All right, I think we are live. I know it looks a little bit different. It's just me tonight, but folks at home, what's happening? Welcome, feeshin friends. Hopefully you're all ready to have a good time. I know I am. Let me know as soon as you guys and gals, whoever's out there watching, once we're working, let me know. I just want to make sure that things are working, audio's working, everything's working, so I don't talk to y'all for an hour and nothing's working. I see some people already jumping in the comments here. Hopefully I'm just slightly delayed. It says I'm live. We're live. Sounds good too. All right, we're good. My guy Fat Boy Fishing looking out for me. Thank you, Nick. What's happening, fishing friends? Welcome to another live. Kind of a last minute thing. I almost didn't do it tonight. I've had some family stuff going on, but I decided to keep it because of all of you. I love being here. I love doing the lives. And I love talking fishing, so it's kind of my chance to get away and talk to you all and see how things are going. So tonight we're going to do part 2 of the top sellers, the best sellers, top picks on Tackle Warehouse. Last time it was myself and Randizzle. I wish I could have got Randizzle on tonight. He was busy. I reached out on Instagram. There was a couple people I was going to reach out to, but stuff just kind of got crazy. Like I said, I had some stuff going on, so it's been a crazy past couple weeks. I haven't fished for, I guess, 2 weeks now. So kind of stinks, but trying to take care of some stuff around here. So tonight we're going to talk about the Tackle Warehouse, top sellers, best seller stuff. We're going to do that. So I'm going to be jumping back and forth when I'm on the Tackle Warehouse screen. Like when I do this. This is one version of it. Or I do this. You guys and gals can see a bigger deal. I can't actually see what's on when I go over to that screen, so I'm going to kind of be flopping back and forth talking about that stuff and then coming in here and checking comments. But it should be fun. Some of the top sellers out there, things that I like, things that I maybe don't necessarily like, and everything in between. I'll give you my opinion for whatever that's worth. I'm no pro, but dang it, that's what I'm here for. So that's what we're doing tonight. I will do a giveaway. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to do anything custom painted. Actually, I've got a box of my custom crankbaits over there. I'll throw a random crankbait in. I'm just going to do a box for somebody tonight. I honestly didn't get anything ready. I've been kind of in shambles. So again, I apologize, but I'll send a box out to someone. You just have to be here at the end. I could get this all ready. I wish I could do one with you sometime. Dude, Baxter, if you're ready now, I can shoot me a text. I can throw you in now and we can go over all this. You'd be a perfect match for this, talking about Tackle Warehouse bestsellers. I had you, my guy Tyler, over at Hook Sets Are Free. Who else? Mr. Bass. I just did an unboxing with him. There was a couple of people, and I even got some. It was kind of funny because on my Instagram, if you don't follow me over there because I kind of do, stuff back and forth. But I asked over there who people would like to see me get on the show, and I had some people that I already plan on getting. Some people have already had on, and I, of course, will have them back on again. And then some people that I'm like, they're completely out of the realm of my channel. I mean, it's funny that they even got brought up. But, I'm honored that they would even put their names in with somebody like me, old Debo. I'm just a guy who loves to fish. So let's see what we got going. Maybe we'll get old Baxter the bait man in. I don't know if he's busy or if he's just kind of hanging out. We'll see if he hits me up. I'll throw him in here. I was hoping maybe Tyler, Hook Sets Are Free. I wanted to hit him up. Dang it. I'm sorry, man. I didn't get back to you, but I was going to hit him up as well. Hold on. We might, let me get to my bait room. I'm watching dirt racing, of course. Okay. Baxter said I think he's going to hop on. No worries, man. If you can, if you want to, that's awesome. I would be happy to send that. So let's go ahead and start. I know you're all here. Tackle Warehouse top sellers. Let me see what version I have up here. Okay. So little me, big Tackle Warehouse screen. So Tackle Warehouse, I direct people here. I mean, Tackle Warehouse has pretty much everything you need. And it's just like they've got so much there. And I think a lot of people just kind of go here and shop and they look at these best sellers or, they're kind of looking at the new stuff and wondering like what's good. So that's what we're going to kind of do tonight. Last time, I can't believe it, but Randizzle and I only got through the top selling tackles. So if you missed that live, we went through all the lures and everything that is on here, things that we've used, things that we haven't, kind of gave our opinion on it. It might not be the most popular opinion. People may disagree. That's fine. Like we're just here to discuss this and hopefully have a fun conversation. But if you go to Tackle Warehouse over on the side over yonder, you've got like new items, promotion, like all this stuff here. So I'm talking about top sellers. So like when you're going through some of these, just browsing or shopping, sometimes you'll see this deals that says bestseller. Now, I don't know what they rate that on. I honestly probably should have hit up Tackle Warehouse and been like, what do you have to sell, or how many units, or I don't know how that works for it to qualify as a bestseller. I don't know. I would assume they have a certain threshold of like, X units are sold, and that puts it over, some deal. But that's what we're talking about tonight, these bestsellers, because I've had a bunch of people say that, they go here and out of this stuff, what would you pick, Debo? And I get all these questions. I know I've got a jig one lined up. We're going to kind of do this, Rand Dizzle and I, going through jigs, talking everything from jigs, from picking these, looking at colors, to how we fish them. I want to do some on budget gear, because I get that question a ton. I appreciate that. I use everything from $50 rods and reels all the way up to, more expensive, not the crazy stuff. But I kind of use the gambit of everything. I try to help you all because of your support. Really, it is that I can do that and put money that I get in the channel back to gear and stuff, so I can test new lures, new rods, reels, that kind of stuff. So let me jump over, make sure I don't have any questions or anything. And of course, anybody who donates, I never, ask for donations. That is awesome of you all. It helps with my giveaways, the crankbait giveaways, the lure giveaways, paying for shipping, all that. So I appreciate that. And if you leave a question, I will be sure to call out any donations and get to that question, because when all the comments and stuff are running through here, I can't see everyone. But anybody who does donate, I will make sure I call every single one of those out. And any questions that you have, I will answer. I see that we did have one come in that I already missed. Adam Stroop with the donation. Adam, if you have a question, make sure you leave it. I would be happy to answer the questions. I appreciate anybody who donates. It helps out my channel a lot. Oh, Mr. Bass is in here. Make sure you go check out Mr. Bass. Awesome guy, super nice dude. Hit me up. We just did that surprise tackle unboxing. If you haven't checked out that video, go check it out. It was a lot of fun. He picked out some good stuff. The bellows gills, I'm really excited to use. He sent me some of those. So let me see. I'm going to send Mr. Baxter, the bait man, a invite real quick in case he wants to jump in. Great. If he doesn't, no worries at all. Hopefully I can do that from here. StreamYard, how do I get to it on here? So I think I just do this, invite a guest, copy it. I think he's in here. He said, I'm ready. Perfect timing. He must be able to hear me. Okay. Hopefully he's using his phone. If not, he can copy that and paste it and do whatever he wants to his computer. I'm not super tech savvy. Okay. I think he might be jumping in here, so that's fun. Make sure you go check out Mr. Bass. Baxter the Baitman himself will be in here. Super, super nice guy. Oh my gosh, somebody's spamming me here. Mr. Memes, Debo, how long will you stream for? Probably an hour and a half-ish is usually what I go for. My old lady's not home tonight. She was with my family and stuff. Like I said, I've got a bunch of stuff going on. I'm sorry. There might be a drought in content next week. But she's not home, so my girls are upstairs with Stubby. They're watching a movie. I just pop popcorn for them, so hopefully all that goes okay. If they get crazy, I might have to go take care of that. But hopefully Baxter's in here and he can take up the slack while I'm doing whatever I need to do, dad stuff. Okay, Jose Zapata with the donation. Thanks for the great content, Debo. Jose, thank you so much. You're always in here supporting. I appreciate that a lot, man. Appreciate you a ton. Okay, so let's jump over and look at Tackle Warehouse. So the best-selling reels. Okay, so first off is the Daiwa Tattooless CT. So make sure I'm where y'all can see it. Okay. The Daiwa Tattooless CT. I love this reel. I got this, I don't remember how long ago, but I've been using it this year. I'm really impressed. I like it a lot. It feels sturdy. The Daiwa frames are a little bit bigger. So I know some people with smaller hands, or if you like a more compact frame, don't like the Daiwa stuff as well. I've got pretty average size hands. I can just barely palm a basketball, but I mean, I don't have like huge gargantuan hands, but I don't have tiny hands. And I think it's a very comfortable frame. I've been using it for cast and retrieve stuff. I'm trying to think of what some of the latest videos. I had it on that Milliken rod, that MF rod. So whatever video that was, I know some people commented on it, but I've liked it. I've liked it a lot. I need to get a review up on it because I get questions a lot. And really it's kind of an, improved version of the, if I go over to Daiwa here, it's really an improved version of this, the Daiwa Fuego. You'll notice the Fuego does not have the T-wing system though. So the CT, I mean, I would have to go through, look at all the specs, but I know that's the biggest thing is essentially the tattooless CT is a Fuego with the T-wing. I think they both have the Mag, what is it, Mag Force? Yeah, Mag Force Z brakes. I believe that's what the Tatula has. So I think they're very, very similar in all the other specifications. Let's see. Yeah, they both have the aluminum frame, which is huge in my eyes. So the T-Wing, yeah, the Mag Force. It doesn't say the Mag Force Z. I don't know if there's a difference between the Mag Force brakes. I'm pretty sure they're almost identical. You look at price, $129. So this is $20 more than the Fuego. Now the Fuego is $120 or $109 reel now, which is kind of strange. It always used to be a $99 reel, and I think that's because they've got some of those other reels that Daiwa's put out now. But I was a huge fan of the Fuego. I've still got a Fuego. Still would use it without an issue. The tattooless CT has kind of replaced that, and I love it. I love the reel. For $20 more, I think the T-Wing is nice. I've never done like casting comparisons, the T-Wing versus the non. But if you're not familiar with the T-Wing system, it's this little bar here. I don't have a Daiwa reel close to me. I've got some back there. But when you press the thumb bar down, this big bar right here, so you can see when you're reeling it, it's just this little like slot. That's where the line lays. And then that moves back and forth and puts your line on. When you press the thumb bar down, this big bar here opens up. So it's like this. So as you can see, it's up here now. When you click the thumb bar, it drops that down, and your line has all this to go through when you're casting. So essentially, it's supposed to reduce friction. You've got a bigger like line guide when you cast. Now you'll get the most benefit out of it if this T-Wing is in the middle every time. I don't check that, but it's supposed to help with friction, make easier casts. Like I said, I don't know about all that. I haven't gone and done a bunch of casting comparisons, but I can just tell you from feel casting it, it feels good. It's easy to palm. You can see here pretty normal from the back. From the side, I know some people like this. There you go, the Mag Force Z brakes, so same brakes. Some people like the side plate. Some people say that like this is uncomfortable. I've never noticed that. There's nothing like sharp on it, so I really don't. The brakes being there does not bother me at all. Oh, Baxter's in here. Sorry, brother. I was on the other side. Baxter the bait man dropping in.
That's right, man.
What is, brother? Thanks for jumping in.
No problem. I was just, getting my weekly fix of sprint car racing.
Some dirt racing, huh?
Yeah.
I can hear the cars going here. We've got a little dirt track. You know Hawkeye Downs, I think, don't you?
Yeah.
Dirt track here in Cedar Rapids.
I think this is really interesting what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because, I was in retail for a long time as far as tackle and all. And I always got the question, like, I always see these top sellers on Tackle Warehouse. How does that translate to the online store shop you're running? Believe it or not, they line up pretty dang good.
Really? Okay, good. So you're going to have some good insight. Now, did you own, was it your own store? Or how did that work? I guess we've never gotten into that. So for people that don't know you, this is Baxter, the bait man.
Yeah, so long story short, I'm just a freaking tackle nut. And, I fished all my life here on Kentucky Lake from when I was little. But I got into the baits pretty hard a long time ago. So, but yeah, I worked at several stores, and I helped one store start an online store, and I had a kind of a partnership deal with another store, and created a website and everything, and not doing anything that more, no hard feelings. Just, there's a lot of competition out there, and, people's expectations of businesses change. But, I work for Pellet Windows, which is down the road from you. So it works, man, to be honest with you, because it's really hard as an independent store or whatnot to just make God's money. Everybody wants to be Tackle Warehouse, and it's really hard. And long story short, I'm a Tackle Warehouse affiliate. So if you ever use a link on one of my videos, it helps my channel out or whatnot. But I'm here to help you educate some viewers on what they're seeing on Tackle Warehouse. You're kind of a rod and reel guru, so I'm a little scared on this one. But
oh yeah, right.
It's got a bill or it's made of plastic. I'm pretty good about it. So
Stubby's in here. Stubby, you want to say hi to these nice people? He keeps coming. Come up here and say hi to these nice people. I already saw somebody say Mr. Stubbs in the house. There he is, the most laid back, cool, fun dog you'll ever meet. He's kind of like my therapy dog right now. He's a good dude.
But yeah, I
Yes.
won't be on too long, Debo, because I got to stream in about 40 minutes or so.
I thought you streamed last night. I didn't know you were streaming tonight. Okay.
Yeah, I got that package
then
from Retro Bass, and he's a cool dude. He sent me some.
Oh yes,
so
I want to have him on too. Yeah, he shows some.
Yeah,
awesome
dude, his channel's really catching some fire. It's if you guys want to learn about old stuff, like I'm kind of like mid '80s to the last decade or so. That's my jam, and the new stuff. He's like pre that. He's like old school when Bill Dance first started bassing kind of stuff. Like and he's very good with it too.
Yeah, he has some awesome stuff. I need to get him on and hit him up. But yeah, especially for the educational stuff, man. That stuff is okay. So let's so we'll get back. I was talking about the Daiwa Tattooless CT. Have you used it?
Yeah, I think I got one right next to me somewhere.
Boom.
That's all I own, to be honest with you, right now is Daiwas, and I got one Shimano SLX.
Okay, so yeah, this is the newer version. The only thing I don't like about the new version is the handle knobs. Like, I hate that Daiwa went to these like little scrawny knobs. I love the old ones. I don't know about you, like the bigger round ones that had.
If I could put the old handles on the new frame and everything, real would be perfect.
Sorry, I forget to switch over. People are going to have to probably keep hounding me on that. Yeah, so that's what I was talking about. These little tiny reel handles. I personally don't like them, but you can always swap those out. So the Tattooless CT, yeah, good pick. I would definitely recommend that for $129. I think it's a super solid reel. Again, aluminum frame. You've got the T-wing, good brakes. I think the Daiwa brakes are super easy to tune in. Yes. So I would for sure say that one. You all probably already know what I'm going to say on this one. Lose LFS Speed Spool is one of my favorites. This was one of like the first like new rods and reels I got. So before when I got back into fishing, that's been like, I guess probably 8 years ago now. Everything I had, or I shouldn't say everything, a lot of the stuff I had was Quantum, because back in the day, Quantum was huge, like one of the big three, I guess, back then. So Dad had a lot of Quantum. He had some Shimano and a few Daiwas, but most of what I had was like hand-me-downs from him, so it was a lot of the old Quantum. So the LFS was like one of the first expensive, when I bought it, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I've got a reel this expensive. Yeah. And I had this thing for, this was my go-to reel for probably 2 solid years. Never had an issue with it. I know. And with some of this stuff, there's going to be people that say, oh, it's a piece of junk. I had it for a week and it broke. Any sort of manufactured good, there's always going to be like, that line of, I don't want to say necessarily defects, but, something that you might have a little bit of an issue with, right? As long as that's not the overwhelming majority, and you could probably talk to this even more, what is the, I guess, in manufacturing, I'm trying to think of the words they use when they're like good percentage or whatever they have to stay above, Yeah,
it's all a QC, even in my line of work, even though it's not rods and reels, you want to, no matter how perfect you think you build something, there's still going to be a small percentage of things that get past QC or whatnot. Usually that's numbers pretty low, but when you're on a mass manufacturing scale, you got to keep up with demand, keep up with orders, and sometimes a few slip through. And sometimes the QC guy don't do his job either, but
that's true,
unfortunately. But I will tell you, I'm not a Lose guy, but the amount of people I sold a Lose LFS as their first bait cast reel is astronomical. I sold a ton of these. These are mini workhorse reels. And like you said you had one for 2 years. I know guys that still have some of the original ones from 10, 12 years ago, and they're still going. Yep. Probably one of the, I tell people on my stream all the time, if you're just getting into bass fishing and you want something that feels high end, it's not a lot of money, you can be comfortable with, LFS is a really, really hard reel to beat. And then they're smooth, the drag's decent, mini gear ratios. And one time they had like a 4-to-1 for cranking.
I think they still do. Yeah, that's like the smaller one. Yeah, 5.6.
Yeah, that's a great starting off cranking reel.
Though. Sorry if you're a left hand.
Yeah, that's the only bad thing. They don't make that 5-6 to 1 in a left hand.
Those are all out too.
Yeah, dude. And they Lose and a few others have kind of ran into the whole manufacturing production issue that a lot of companies are right now, just getting stuff to the U.S. or they're missing a small part that's holding up a ton of things.
Right.
And I know a lot of guys, and I heard you talking about Tackle Warehouse. Some guys know, I see a lot of people like, well, I quit ordering from TW. They're so slow and all that. If you will bite the bullet, add the 2-day shipping on there, it's usually $10 to $15. It had to go up just a little bit. They're really behind. They said this is the biggest year they've ever had, or since COVID, it's exploded. And they just don't have enough workers. And there's, they're trying, they want to get everybody's out the same day. It's just impossible. But if you'll add 2-day shipping, it's priority, you'll get your stuff really quick.
Yep, I've had to do that too.
And to be honest, locally prices are kind of competitive. But, man, I tell people all the time, it's really hard to beat TW's prices. And the fact that they have everything. Yeah.
Everything. That's what makes it for me is like, there's other places I could go and get part of it. But, there's a lot of places I just can't find the stuff. So it's like you, I've just kind of bit the bullet. And, otherwise just be ahead. If you know you're going to need something, just order it now. It might be 3 weeks before you get it. But try to grab something ahead. I did get a couple donations. Let me call these out real quick. My guy, Matt Erickson, good supporter of the channel. We appreciate that you made time for us. Dude, this gets me away from the real world and talking about something that I love. I could talk fishing all day, every day, dude. So
I feel like me and you could do a 24-hour stream if we wanted.
Dude, no problem. We could go down so many side quest tangents that it would be quite ridiculous, I'm sure, but no problem doing it. Whether we'd have any viewers, I mean, that's a different story. But
I think we would. I think it'd be surprising if we tried to pull it off sometime.
Dude, that'd be fun. And I had one. Why am I not seeing? So I see Chris donated.
Yeah, you got one here from Chris Russ, I see.
Oh, there we go. It kept skipping. Perfect. Okay, would love to have you both drop some of your favorite spinning reels, since most of these are bait casters. I think actually we're going to be getting to that. We certainly will if there's not. Let me finish up the LFS real quick. I'm going to leave. Did I leave that up here? Okay. I left Chris's up there. So the LFS, I know this is a big thing, is people say, well, it's made in China, right? You can see here on the sticker, it's made in China. Luz isn't trying to hide that. Right. And actually the LFS that I just got now, I might have to grab it. I think it's right back there.
It's probably made in Korea.
It's made in Korea now, which is strange because a lot of the, the more budget stuff is made in China, which is fine. I buy stuff and use it based on what it is. Some people say, well, I only use Shimano because it's made in Japan. And then I've had conversations with those people. I'm like, flip over your Corrado. Your new Corrados aren't made in Japan. You're looking at Malaysia, Taiwan for Daiwa and Shimano now. So it's like, unless you buy the higher price stuff, you're not getting a Japanese reel, or unless you're buying JDM, So, for me, the Luz is, I echo everything Baxter said. It's easy to use. It's got easy brakes. You don't have to, dig into it to turn on and off brakes. It's just a dial. Tune it in and you can go. I don't love their handle knobs, kind of slick, but I mean, you can't have everything at $99. It's not going to be perfect, but overall,
I think they have some knobs, and you might find them on TW that are kind of, they've got that, they're laced, you know what I mean? They're waffle knobs.
Like stipple?
Yeah, stipple.
Yep.
And I used to swap out to those, and I like those quite a bit. The only downside is some of Luz reels, especially these in the older tournament pros, on those knobs. If you really fished all the time and you weren't like super nice with your equipment, that plastic rubber coating would peel off quite a bit. So that's why I would swap to the stippies.
Sorry if I gave you all a plumber crack there. Can't help it that I got a badunk-a-dunk. Here we go.
Comes with the territory, bud.
All right. So yeah, you can't see it there, but it does say Korea. Oh, you can't read any of that. Oh, there you go. Can see it. They are made in Korea now. This doesn't have the stippled knobs, the regular LFS, but this is the new and improved one. I say new and improved, but it does have the P2 supported pinion gear, which I like. So the pinion, the little gear that turns your main gear, it's got a whole bearing that goes around that. So normally with like a lot of the cheaper bait casters, I'll just pop this open here. Stubby, don't grab that chatterbait that's got a hook on it, dog. When you open this up and you look at your spool, a lot of the less expensive reels will just have a bearing that only supports your spool shaft. Mm-hmm. So it's a little bearing, just like your side bearing here. The side bearing here is only supporting your spool shaft, right? It fits right on this. But what they've done is they've got a bearing in there that actually supports your whole pinion gear, so it holds all that tighter. And I personally feel like it's a good upgrade. I mean, that's a really good upgrade. It's not some marketing thing. You know, sometimes the terminology and stuff they use on these is just like, you know, MCS cast control. All it is their magnetic brakes, you know, right? Every company's going to have their own like marketing terms, but some of the stuff I feel like you're actually getting a good upgrade. And that is one thing that I like to see on there. I think it makes for a more rigid feel.
Tell you what I'm going to do, Debo. I'm going to go to my stream that I was going to do at 8:30. I'm going to go ahead and back up the time to 9 o'clock.
Awesome, dude.
So, yeah,
awesome.
That way, yeah, you know, I don't ever want to go over top of somebody or anything. But
oh, dude, I'm never ashamed to send people.
I'm the bait guy, not the real guy. So I got to keep getting educated. You would think I know a lot from retail, but man, I'm just like, if it feels good, if it casts good, and if it's smooth, that's kind of me. You know what I mean?
Dude, now, that's what a lot of it is, though. I mean, I'm sure you're the same way. You've held more expensive reels versus less expensive reels, and there might be a less expensive reel that you're like, dude, this just feels a lot better. I'd rather use this, you know, and kind of vice versa.
Right.
So for some people, that's what it is. Chris, okay, Chris, let me bring up some of these. I'm going to jump back over.
Living Missouri Outdoor. Yes, I watched the first King's Roll.
Whoops, not that one.
I wish I could figure out how to chat. I guess I'd have to get my phone to answer the chat. So you go do your thing. I'll be right back.
Okay, yeah. Let's look over. Let me see if in here we have any spinning reels. Oh, they have one spinning reel in here, Chris. Okay, so the Shimano Vanford. I've heard a ton of good stuff on it. It's kind of in the range of the what was it? Why can I not think of the? God, I can't think of the old black and silver and red one. Shimano Stratic CI4, in the same price range as that. I think the Stratic was like $249, something like that. I guess we could go look quick. I've actually never used either of those. I've heard a lot of good stuff about the Vanford, but I personally have not used one. I know they just had those on clearance, so I don't know if this like took over it. I don't stay on top of all that stuff. So here's the black and silver one, the Stratic FL, but they also had like a black and red one, which was the older one. So that must have taken that over. The Vanford must have taken place of that. Again, I've never used it. I've heard a ton of good stuff. You know, with any of the Shimanos, I have used a number of the Shimano reels. For example, the Sedona, I got that for $18. When Gander Mountain was going out of business, and I'm like, yeah, I'll take that for $18. And actually, I think I got a little bit more off than that. But you know, it's a $70 reel. I love it. You know, for a sub $100 reel, it feels solid. It's smooth, and the biggest thing for me that I'm looking for, like with a bass spinning reel, is a good smooth drag. Because I don't need. I know some people will kind of shame like I like a 3000 size reel just because like that fits my hands well. But people are like, you don't need that much line. Like you're never going to run a fish out 100 and some. Like what's the line capacity on this? 140 yards if you have 8-pound, you know, line on there. And that's not the thing for me. Like I just like the feel of a 3000 size. I don't like a super small. I don't want to feel like I've got an ice fishing reel when I'm bass fishing. So you may have more line than you need. I always go braid to a leader, so I don't really have to worry about that braid going bad. I guess that's just kind of how I run. Do you run any Shimano spinning reels?
I used to. So you're going to laugh at me. I've only owned, up until 2 years ago, only owned one spinning reel. And it was, that wasn't for bluegill fishing. It was a Symmetry.
Is it the green one? I've got an old Symmetry too that I love.
It's so old. It had the, you know, it had the dual handle or had two knobs on it.
Oh,
I think it was a Symmetry. It might have. They got so many that are the same, but so I love Kentucky Lake, and it's basically a power fishing lake. So the whole Finesse thing in the last 3 years is really I've had to dig into. So I do not own a Shimano spinning reel now. I'm trying to look at the whole screen here. But I know from my day, the Noski was a big time seller.
A big one. That's a $99. I've heard a lot of good stuff. I haven't used that one. Where is the Noski? Did I switch over it? It is a $99 reel. I must have.
It took the It might have been the replacement for the Symmetry. Sean, you're right. It wasn't a Symmetry. It's a Spyrex. It's not the greatest spinning reel I ever had, but Noski actually stands for reborn. So that means the reel it took the place of, which I think was the Symmetry, it could be something else, stands for reborn. So they basically rebuilt that reel. It's really nice, really smooth, and they get, you can get it in a 1500 all the way up to like a 4500. But I
think it was sold out. I think the last time I checked, because I was just telling somebody to look at it and they said, oh, it was sold out. It's a $99 reel though. I've heard a lot of good stuff. I haven't used one, but yeah, I've got the Symmetry, the Sahara, I'm trying to think of all the different ones I've had, but I mean, you can't really go wrong with the Shimano stuff. Same thing for Daiwa. I've got the Fuego for a $99 reel. I love it. I mean, it's really
this is what I'm rocking right now. And I really love this reel. And I'd be surprised if it's not on the best sellers, but this is the Tatula LT spinning reel. This is a 3000. Now, I will tell people the Daiwa numbers. If you're used to a 3000 in Shimano, a Daiwa 3000 is like a size smaller. So normally I like a 2500 in a Shimano that seems to fit me, or even a 2000. With Daiwa, I have to go 3000. I really wouldn't be opposed to going like a 3500. So there's not a whole lot of difference between this Tatula LT right here versus the Fuego. And the Fuego is like $99 or something like that.
Yep.
This one might be a hair lighter, but I've had nothing but good things about this reel. I pretty much keep it as a finesse setup, 16 pound. This is Sunline X Plasma, and then I've got like a 10 pound fluorocarbon leader, wacky rig, Nico rig. I'll throw small swim baits on it. But Baitman Jr. pretty much uses this all the time now, and it's so smooth. Like, he can cast a little finesse swim bait a mile with that thing, and that's one thing I really like about that reel. I tell people when you get kids into fishing, going cheap's fine, especially if they don't end up liking it, but he likes it. And like, he'll pick up a reel in Academy and go, it's not as smooth as yours, Daddy. So he knows he can. It's nice that it's smooth and casts easy because he knows now, you know what I mean? And so when I'll give him his little Ike and Ellie combo, he just looks at me like, this reel's junk.
And it's kind of a double-edged sword, because like when they're first learning to use it, you don't want to give them something super expensive. But I know I had some of like Dad's really, really old stuff that was very thumb heavy. Like when I was first learning to use a bait caster, like the brake sucked on it. And though it was like a headache to learn, like I beat myself over the head with that for so long that when he finally handed me down one of his better reels, it was like a dream, and it was like a cheap reel. Like,
yeah.
So it's like kind of a double. You don't want to go too cheap to where it's like it dissuades them. Is that even a word? They don't want to use it at all, right? But you want to go with something decent that's easy enough to use that they can get the hang of it.
There's a Dowel Reel. It's a spinning reel. It might be on TW. It's $39.99. It is one of the smoothest spinning reels.
Oh, is it the green and what is it? Daiwa RG? Is it the RG? That one, dude.
I used to sell these all the time. The RG is really good. I'm gonna open it up on.
I brought it up here. Crossfire.
No, Crossfire. You don't want to play with that thing. It's pretty rough. Good crappie reel. No, let's see if they've got it up here.
The Daiwa BG is one I got at the Gander sale, and I love that thing. I think they had them on sale for like $33.
Oh, actually, they've increased the price. It used to be $39. Now it's $49.50. It's the Revros, Daiwa Revros. Dude, I'm telling you, for $49.99, it is incredibly smooth. Like, I know guys that were buying this thing that are got $60,000, $70,000 Ranger boats and spending all this stupid money on JDM tackle, and they would come in store and they would reel this and go, how much is that? And I said, why don't you take a guess? And they go, 200. And I said, nah, $49.99. They said, I'll take two. Really, really nice. There's not a whole lot of difference between it and the Regal, but
yeah, so the RG is the one I was talking about. And then, okay, yeah, here's the other one. So yeah, 49 to 59 depending. Yeah, if it's anything like that RG, the Revros, or what was the one I just said? The Regal? Yeah, Regal. Dude, yeah, I was so surprised when I bought that. $30. So
yeah,
here's
man.
ones Baxter was talking about. They've only got one left of the 2000 size. Wow.
Yeah, so Daiwa had a big container fall in the ocean.
Yeah, there was a number of them that did. Yeah, that sucks, man. That's just, doesn't it make you want to like learn how to scuba dive and go?
Oh yeah,
go get into
absolutely.
those. Oh,
We'll get you another donation, bud. Slapping Bass 365 just sent you $5.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we got to get back with. Holy smokes! Let's get back to donations here. I'm going to jump over. I think I've missed a few people in here. I'm sorry, feeshin friends. Going too fast. Talking fish and getting me away from the real world right now is huge. You all are doing me a favor. Let's see. So if I scroll back, John is the last one I see. What do you think of Cast King? I used Cast King stuff a while back. I have since switched to try to branch out. I think a lot of the stuff, like I've said before, you get a lot better deal with an aluminum frame. And a lot of the stuff that I had before was all graphite, and you can tell a big difference, going from like the, even the Lew's $99 all aluminum frame versus a graphite reel. Once you start fishing more, if you fish once a month, you're not going to notice it, but once you start fishing 3-4 times a week, you're going to notice it pretty quick. So that's why most of the things we're going to be talking about are going to have that aluminum frame as far as bait casters go. I don't think it's as big of a deal in the spinning stuff as long as you have, a good working drag. Chris, as we answered, Lisa with the donation. Lisa, if you have a question, make sure you leave it. Thank you so much for the donation. But if you have a question or comment, let me know, and I will answer that as soon as I can. My guy fishing with Gramps in here. Gramps, we're going to have to get you on a stream sometime, too. He's always supporting.
Yeah, he's a good dude. I like his channel.
He's a nice cat. Picked up almost new Stratex someone traded into American Legacy. Yeah, sweet. Is it the black and red one? Did the silver one take that over? I guess if anybody knows that. Oh, here, Mr. Bassett. I have a lot of Stratex CI4s. Excellent reel for the money. I've heard they're amazing. I've never used one, but let's see. Then said we had another one that I missed here. Okay, is it Slappin' Bass? Slappin' Bass. Hey, dude, if you had a budget of $200, what multi-species rod and reel would you buy? Let's pretend this is the only one you had to throw. So I don't do a ton of like different stuff. I'm not searching for big catfish. If you accidentally hook a muskie or northern, if I only had one and bass fishing is like your primary thing, it'd be like a 7.2 is my favorite all around. 7.2 medium heavy casting rod rated for lures up to 1 ounce. Reel, I mean, there's so many good picks in there for $200. You can get an awesome rod and reel. We're going to kind of go through some of that. Like, let's say you want the LFS, that gives you a $100 budget for a rod. And we're going to be looking at, there's quite a few rods at the $100 price point that will do you perfectly fine, especially if you find some on sale. That's what I would use with, I would say 15-pound fluorocarbon is my favorite for all around. How about you, Bateman?
Yeah, I think the line 15-pound fluoro is probably your best bet, because you can throw some small crankbaits on that, stuff like that. You're not going to overweight your lure. And worms, Texas rigs, you can throw jigs on that. The only thing you limit yourself on fluorocarbon is top water, but I've been breaking the cardinal sin. I left my crankbait line on a rip, on like an 8-to-1 reel, and I thought it was mono, and I've been throwing a popper on it for like 3 weeks now. I don't know why, but I have had zero issues, and this
Really?
6-cent splashback just walks back and forth and back and forth. I wonder if the bait's just so buoyant, and because that splashback really sits face up in the water. I mean, it's like this. So when I'm popping it, that line's not really dragging a whole lot in the water. I hadn't had no issues at it. I'm kind of baffled because I've made that mistake before. I just couldn't get one to walk or nothing. But there's a lot of good rods out there in that price point of $79 to $99. I'm like you. I'm kind of wanting something in that 7.1 to 7.2 medium heavy, fast action. I want to go extra fast. That Shimano new Integra is a really good rod. It's like 120 though. The Dobbins Fury is hard to beat. Yeah, Intenza. And then the Dobbins Fury is one of the most popular. That's definitely a TW bestseller. I can tell you that.
Oh, I guarantee that's going to be on there. Yeah.
Yeah. Like at 734 Dobbins Fury is probably one of the best selling rods across the country. And you can $200 is your budget, you can find you a good bait caster, 79, 89 bucks to pair with that thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You can find the $100 reels on sale for, 20% off, $80 all the time. So do that. And then boom, you can get a Fury and Intenza. Gosh, yeah, there's so many out there. Look for deals. I know. Well, people were saying you're wearing Kistler. No, I'm not sponsored by them or anything. They did throw in a free hat with my stuff though.
It looks good, cool. Bud. It really does.
Like it. I'm super simple. So I love the stuff that's just like really bland. Like my shirt, just the Hawkeyes. Go Hawks. Sorry about your Tennessee cats out there, but
what's funny is Zach, the Pro Stuff guy, 6 cents. I left my Tennessee blanket at his apartment from the spring. He just mailed it to me. Outside the box, it said, "Vols suck, go Hawkeyes."
Yes. Okay.
I couldn't really disagree with him. So
you're like, yeah, this time around. I honestly don't get into that stuff big and crazy, but it's always fun to give people a little bit of crap. Okay, so we talked about spinning reels, Chris. Hopefully that helps. And yeah, even like you don't have to go. I've actually been surprised with, and I'm not a loose fanboy or anything, but I picked up this one, the Mach 2. For $79, I have had zero issues with this. I love the wind grip. Has been smooth. Drag has worked well. You know what lose I didn't like that I used is their $129 Custom Pro. I thought it was rough. I didn't think it was smooth. I didn't love it, and I'm not
a fan of that one.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of it. And it's their most expensive. I think their most expensive spinning reel that they make. Rand Dizzle has this one. Randy does. He loves that one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, the $99. But yeah, like I said, I've used the Mach. It's a graphite frame and stuff, but I've had no complaints with it for $79.
They actually have stepped their game up quite a bit since when they first were doing spinning reels. I mean, they're really rough, but I think right now that KVD spinning reel, the one Rand Dizzle has for the money, is really good.
I haven't used the.
I'm impressed with the Machs, man. The Machs are pretty good. That Bateman Jr., he really likes it because of the green, but he's playing with one academy. He's like, it's smooth, and so I'm like, all right, let me see. I'm like, it is nice.
I haven't used this one yet. Is that a aluminum? Oh, it is an aluminum frame too. Aluminum body and side plate. Nice. And that's just going to help with when people are asking about like on a bait caster, when you talk about flex and body torsion.
Right.
Once you have like a graphite frame bait casting reel, I'm getting stuff stuck. A graphite bait casting reel, you'll start to feel it if you get a bigger fish on, or you don't even have to have huge fish. Some fish will just pull you, and you'll start
to
feel
it.
Yeah, like where the reel seat's gonna come like off the reel or something. Like it feels really weird, and it's really just that graphite in the frame. It's not going to be crazy huge. It's not like going to be moving 2 inches, but like you'll feel it. And then once that starts happening, when you've got a graphite frame and a graphite side plate, you get any sort of misalignment or you're torquing on that, depending on how you're reeling. That's when you'll start to get the grindy kind of clicky sound. And that's when your main gear, because you have to remember your main gear and your pinion gear are going around like this when you're reeling, right? And if you get any sort of misalignment where these two aren't perfectly together, you're going to start rubbing gears. It's going to start getting clicky, that grindy, geary, noisy, like kind of clicky sound. You're just going to burn through those bait casters quicker. So in the long run, as long as you're doing your reel maintenance, cleaning it twice a year, greasing it and stuff, you're not going to have that many issues at all with an aluminum reel. Spinning reels are a different story. I hate cleaning and taking apart spinning reels, so I am really bad at that. I leave them dirty for a long time, so don't ask me on that.
That's good. That was a good summarization there. A lot of people don't understand that on aluminum frame on a spinning reel.
Yeah, and I didn't even, on the same thing for the spinning reel. Like when you go into a spinning reel, so you've got your handle side here where it all connects, and you've got this that's aluminum. If those are all solid aluminum to aluminum, you're not going to get that twisting. I mean, you're going to have to pull really hard, and something's going to break before you twist that. But all this, your arm, the arm of your spinning reel here, along with this, none of it's going to be twisting and torquing, and like especially on a spinning reel, you can feel like when I've had a big carp on, you can feel literally your spinning reel doing this, like moving forward. When that's all aluminum, you're not going to have that. So as long as, again, you've got a good drag, you'll be fine. So let's see, back to top sellers. Goodness gracious, this is going to take all night as well.
Oh, I'm going to moderate, bud. I'm just going to let you know you got another dono.
Okay, well, good. I can't see when I'm over here on this screen. Let's jump back. So I think we answered that one. Slap and Bass. Hopefully that helped. What do we have here? Was it Ashton is on? Yes. Okay, so Ashton, thank you very much for the donation. Hey, Debo, love the stuff. What's your favorite Shimano? If we're talking about, well, that's not even my favorite Shimano reel is the Corrado 200 E7, the mean green with the sparkly finish. Such a cool reel. I think Baxter and I talked about this the last time I was on his channel. We showed him. I had one. It was really rough shape, though. Whoever had it didn't take care of it. I didn't know what I had at the time. I ended up selling it for like 45 bucks, I think. And now, like, they're all over eBay for like 200, 250.
Oh yeah,
I still got that guy. Luckily,
I still got this one. I got to send you. You know me, I've been way behind.
Yeah, and this is his favorite. Oh, dude, don't ever apologize for that. I'm so far behind.
I got to send this one off to Debo. This is a subscriber sent this one to me. But this is the old school Chronarch 100. And man, they still go for over $100. But this was my favorite reel growing up. These things will cast a mile when you tune them right. They hold up really, really well. And I like the bigger, the handles on here. The knobs are really, really nice. But, man, these things built like a tank. I would love to see Shimano have a throwback Chronarch or Corrado, or actually a Chronarch, and do the Pearl for just, limited,
dude,
1,500 reels. Cool. People would buy it. Yeah. I love the paint jobs, man. It's like, you know what candy apple rad is to like an old 57 Chevy and stuff. People always, or old Corvettes, people flock to that. Dude, this pearl white, people always think about the old pearl Shimanos. What? If you got kids that are getting into high school fishing and stuff, I'm going to let you in a secret. If you can find guys that have a bunch of these old Chronarchs, those green Corrados, that's pretty top-notch equipment to go start with. Steve Kennedy, Elite Series angler, almost won the Classic. He's still using those old green Corrados.
Mikey Balls, same thing. Mikey Balls, somebody said, dude, look at his stuff. I didn't know he was a huge fan of them. He's a big fan of the Corrado 200 E7. He had some. Yep. I think a lot of people are a fan of the 300 E for swim baits, like the bigger 300 size. So I never had one of those. I had the 200 size. Kern River Rod with the $20 donation. Thank you so much, man. Thank you for this channel and all the great tips. Looking forward to some larger swim bait videos and blow-ups. Dude, I've been trying my butt as hard as I can, and these Iowa bass don't want anything to do with my dumb butt out there in a boat throwing big swim baits. I'm trying, though. I'm trying. I haven't put any of the strikeout videos up because I just haven't been able to catch anything on a big glide bait. I've been throwing the big 7-8 inch, but...
Speaking of TW Daily Specials, Savage Gear line through, I think it's like 25% off. It's actually a pretty good bait.
I haven't used any of those.
So if anybody's on here cruising and adding any of this stuff to the cart, might want to throw one in there.
Throw one of those in.
I'm like you do. I throw the big baits. 10 years ago, or when I first really started throwing swim baits, caught a lot more fish. Our bass population's just down, but swim baiting's not for everyone. It's a patience game.
It is. You're grinding for one good bite, and like, as a YouTube guy, that's hard. Nobody wants to watch me grinding for 10 minutes to finally catch one at the end. And I'm not popular enough to do that. Like if I was one of the, the big names, I'm sure people would sit through it, but I try to give people stuff as I'm going through, and damn.
That's why I just talk about baits. I know the baits and stuff, or else I'll be make all my videos are just, cast after cast. Well,
oh, that's baloney. I've seen some of the fish you catch, dude. David says, best bang for the buck rod or reaction baits. Best bang for the buck rod. Oh, for reaction baits. I thought that said or. Learn to read, Debo. Best bang for the buck rod for reaction baits. So square bill, spinnerbait, chatterbait. I dropped my current/old one. Oh, damn, man. I'm sorry to hear that. Okay. So if it's honestly going to be the same thing, like I would probably go a little bit lighter, like that Fury 734 or 733 actually is what I have that I threw for a long time. The 733 is a little bit softer, but it's going to be like a moderate fast, medium heavy that's rated for lures up to like 3/4 of an ounce. It's like a strong medium rod. It's like kind of a wimpy medium heavy. And I think that's probably the best all around. Like if you're not throwing big stuff, you can throw flip and pitch a 3/8 ounce weight. You can throw bigger square bills like a 2.5 or a 2.0, no problem. They have those bigger treble hooks. Spinner baits, chatter baits. I've thrown a ton of stuff on that 733. How about you, Baxter? What would your pick be?
Dude, it would be hard to beat that. I actually have a 6 cents rod that's pretty all-purpose. It's a Lux It's a little bit higher. It's 149. It's a 7-1 medium heavy fast. I've thrown chatterbaits. I've actually thrown some hollow belly swim baits, not real heavy. I've thrown crankbaits. I've thrown a fluke on it. It's kind of a utility rod. But if I'm going to go for the price, and I wish they had it in stock, man, I really wish TW did. Daiwa makes a Tatula XT rod, not the silver one. That's the Elite. Those are really good rods, but they make a Tatula XT casting rod. They're $99, and they make a 7-1 medium heavy. You know, it's extra fast. It's more like a fast. It's a really good rod, and it's rated from 1/4 to 1 ounce. You can throw some jigs on it. You can throw Texas rigs. You can get away with some square bills and throw some chatterbaits on it. I know it says extra fast, but it's really more like a fast tip. And they got a 7-foot medium heavy. They're out of stock. Says they're going to have some more July 31st. That's a really good all-purpose rod, but dude, it's hard to beat a Fury 733. They're good rods. And you may have used one. I haven't, but I've heard the new Veritas are really nice. And Abu's got a ton of different options in the Veritas line.
I do like that rod. I haven't used a bunch of them. I've got the frog rod, which is, I feel maybe a little soft for a frog, but it works for those kind of like mid-size, like a pad crasher.
Right.
I like it a lot or if you're not fishing like real super thick stuff. Rand Dizzle's actually got my older version of it. He sold that one. He loves it. I've got also the Lew's TP1X is another $99 white rod. And then I saw 13 Fishing, which I don't know what's happened with 13 Fishing. They kind of like fell off. Like I don't really hear much about them. I always had good luck with their stuff. I know some people didn't like their stuff at all. Like the green, what was it? The green,
the Fate Black, that was a green rod. Yeah. It's really not a bad rod. I actually thought the cork felt pretty good on it.
Yeah, dude, I've had great luck. The spinning rod was super comfortable. I didn't have any issues with mine. Let's jump back over and.
Those are good. Anytime, I always say if you're looking for all purpose, you got to at least be in the medium heavy. Because if you go medium, if you want to throw something bottom contact, a lot of times you're just going to be a little too noodly, too spongy, too noodly. Halo makes some good stuff now, man.
I've been using some of their stuff. I haven't caught anything on it when I was throwing them, but they do. I like their stuff.
I feel like I'm leaving somebody out.
I think we've got the whole rod section. We'll talk more about rods when we get there. I'm going to see if we can get through.
Yeah, this is your stream. You do it.
Okay, so Lew's. Back to Lew's. The Pro Skip and Pitch. I haven't actually got to go out and test this against like an SLX DC. I don't even have a Corrado DC, but I know a lot of people say like the DC reels are the best for skipping. You'll notice with the skip and pitch reel here, it's a little bit different because it's got a super shallow spool, right? So their whole theory behind this is it's only going to hold, and it holds a full cast. Like if you put 15-pound fluorocarbon on here, you've still got a full cast worth, but that's about it. That's really all you're casting out. Their theory behind it is lighter spool, more like a BFS reel. You can flip and pitch with less inertia. You don't have all that to get backlash under it. So if you're trying to, skip and stuff under docks, you're only going to be doing short distance anyway. You're not skipping 50 yards, right? So it's going to be, 20, 30 feet, skipping under a dock. So that's kind of what they've done with this one. The rod itself the reel itself feels great. I like it. I noticed Lew's has gone to these foam knobs on some of their reels, which they never had before, or I guess I should say the EVA knobs. But otherwise, I mean, it's pretty much your regular reel. It's got the brakes in it. I think these are the ACB brakes, if I remember right.
I think I saw Fishing with Gramps made a video about that reel.
Did he? Okay. I haven't checked it out yet. Go check out Fishing with Gramps if he did. But yeah, these have the ACB, the centrifugal brakes inside there, but you adjust them with the external dial. So it's really just taking the dial inside there and moving it closer or farther away from those centrifugal brakes and then giving you more or less braking power, which is nice. So then you don't have to get actually inside the reel. So I do like that. But and I know they call it their quiet cast. Lew's was known for their old centrifugal brakes. Like I've got one of the Lew's Tournament Pro, BB1 Tournament Pro or whatever. It was like a $200 reel. It didn't make it very long. I I got it on clearance. I think that was actually a gander, but the brakes on that would get loud, so you have to keep them like greased or oiled. Put a drop of oil on. I noticed that when they came out with these, I don't know if it must have been the material that they made those little centrifugal brakes out of. They must have changed it because these are quiet. Big difference. I know they got a lot of heat back then on that, but they've since fixed that.
Everything I've heard about that reel, it's a really, really good reel.
Yeah, I've liked it. I just haven't tested it out with actually skipping. Flip and pitch and everything feels good. Okay, so some of the stuff I don't have, so I honestly can't say. I've never used a Chronarch, these new Chronarch MGLs. Have you?
Yes, good reel.
Okay.
I will say this though: if I'm going to spend $279, I'm going to go ahead and spend an extra $50, and I'm going to go with the Shimano Bantam. The Bantam's more. It's a solid frame. It's a little bit heavier duty built. It's more of a power fishing reel, which I really, really like. I really like the Bantam. I think it's some of the best reels they've made in a long time. I'd be surprised if it's not on the top sellers there. But the Chronarch MGLs are a great reel. It's a really good distance reel, and it's pretty light. It's the only thing about Shimano. Sometimes I feel they've got a little high end heavy. Where we've got you got the Chronarch, you got the Bantam, you got the Metanium, Anatares, all up in this high end, and then you just got like Corrado, and then SLX. Now the SLX is a really good reel.
Absolutely, I completely agree. Awesome reel. Yeah. Sorry, I'm not trying to eat ice. Somebody said you're eating ice. I'm out of here.
I'm doing it too.
Oh, were you? Oh my God, this dude was probably just pissed off out of his gourd. I don't try to eat ice, but sometimes I get them in here, so I apologize.
Yeah, when you're streaming and stuff, you get to cotton mouth, and I'm like, ooh,
dude, you got to keep your throat wet. The MGL. So anytime you all see the MGL, that's usually there. So the MGL spool, I don't know if it really shows. MGL spool is meant for the lighter lures. So anytime you all see that, just know that and look at the specifications, because it's either going to have like a smaller spool size. They're usually meant for casting lighter lures. So
that's a really good reel, I will say, if you like to throw square bills, crankbait, flat sides, it handles them very well.
Beautiful reel. I mean, Shimano has some of the coolest looking reels. That whole deal there to get to the brakes inside, that's pretty sweet. Does that slide out of the way? Is that the one that slides?
I can't remember if it slides or not. I think it slides up. I think it slides up.
No, they don't show it any other way. I think that's the one that slides. But yeah, I mean, they've got some of the coolest looking reels out there. And then the DC, I've not used the Corrado DC. It's essentially an upgraded version of the SLX DC. It's got the same DC braking system in it. I don't think this doesn't have a aluminum handle side plate, does it? I think it's just the aluminum or Hagane, which is their, I guess, proprietary mix of materials, which I don't know how different or far off from an actual like aluminum deal it is, but I think it's just that. I don't think it's actually got the handle side plate that's aluminum. But so it's got the CI4, the same DC braking system. It's got upgraded, some upgraded things in it. I don't think the SLXs have the X ship bearing deal. I don't think they have the micro module either. So it's got a few things. The SLX versus the Corrado. I remember the first time I used a Corrado, I'm like, dude, this thing is so smooth. You can definitely feel like a smooth reel difference, but as far as performance, like, dude, the SLX I would recommend to anyone. Unless you're super new to bait casters, I think the centrifugal brakes of the regular SLX are a little bit harder to use than like just a regular magnetic brake system if you're brand new. But
it's no surprise to see a DC reel. I think the SLX DC is probably on the top seller as well.
Oh, it's got to be. Yep. Yeah. So we got a lot of Shimano, and I think Tackle Warehouse works with Shimano or something.
Yeah, they do a lot of promo stuff with them. A couple of their pros, I know Luke Clausen, Alex Davis, Jared Littner, they're all sponsored with Loomis Shimano. So obviously, they're going to do a little bit extra promotion. But, they do some stuff with Daiwa guys, and Mark Menendez, Tackle Warehouse Pro, my neighbor, basically. He's a loose guy. So I think they do a good job of not singling just one company out, but they definitely got a lot of faces there that are tied in with Shimano.
Okay, so let's see. What do we have for time? Good Lord, we're already at an hour, man. Time goes too dang quick. Well, we might not even get through reels.
You got another donation too, bud.
Yep, I just clicked on the new one. I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anybody in there. I think that is the last one. If I have, make sure you call out if I missed you. Mario, Debo, what's your favorite stick bait? I'm in muddy water here in New Mexico, and I use green pumpkin, black and blue. What would you recommend? So, like, if we're not talking about traditional stick baits, hands down, Reaction Innovations Pocket Rocket. It's a little bit thicker. It's got more bulbous ends to it. So as far as like my Texas rig stick bait, that 5.5 inch, hands down, by far my favorite. It's got an awesome wobble. I would go with Tramp Stamp, which is like a black and blue mixed with like a green pumpkin. It's like a laminate, so you get the best of both worlds. My favorite color, my favorite stick bait. If we're talking about like regular stick baits, I think for the longest time, the best bang for the buck I could get was the Bass Pro Shop Sticko. When you hit a Bass Pro sale, like their 25 packs or whatever, you can get them for quite a bit off. They have a good fall rate. They're durable, kind of the best of both sides. How about you, bait man? Favorite stick bait?
Everyone's probably always 6 cents, but I still like, dude. I hate to say it, and I hate paying the money. A Cinco, but I'll tell you the one that I really, really like. I'm not affiliated with them or anything, but I use quite a bit of them. And my local academy always has them on sale. Is the General Maxcent General. It's become a really good stick bait. Yeah,
I don't know if that's going to show up. I should probably do.
And I tell you, the first time I used it, I was Nico rigging it, and man, those fish ate that sucker on an eco rig. So
boom, old Corrado with the 6 cents. There it is right there. My first couple times using it, I was pretty impressed. It's got those like pyramids or like.
Yeah, I do like the clout. And obviously, I had one rigged up. It's really good.
Yeah.
I throw it quite a bit. But dude, I like that Berkeley General. If sometimes I feel those fish, man, maybe they're not locking in. That Maxcent, I think it helps. It really does.
Dude, yeah, that's a whole other conversation I could go into. I agree. There's something about that.
Like I said, buddy, we'd go 24 hours.
Dude, we could. We might have 2 people watching, but damn, it'd be fun. Okay, so the Corrados, yes, Shimano makes awesome stuff. The DC, I mean, yep, we just said that one was going to be on here. So I think if we look here, it doesn't have the micro module gearing. Yeah, so it's not going to be as smooth. It does have the Hagane body. Yeah, so it's got the regular brass gearing, not the micro. It doesn't have the X ship in it, the extra bearing. So you can see there's a few things it doesn't have. But I mean, overall, I would certainly recommend it. I actually gave Rendiza one. Stubby's up there playing. Sorry, y'all. I might have to go upstairs and lay down the law. I hear the girls up there teasing him. But Randizzle actually has one now, and he loves it. He's like, dude, I freaking love that thing. And like, he hated it first because he's like, thing sounds like a transformer. I hate that every time I cast it, it whines. That's stupid. And now he's like, man, I kind of love this reel. So yeah, for sure. Good reel. A little bit heavier. I know that's something that people don't like about the DC reels. You're going to get a heavier reel. So if you look here, 7.6 ounces for a DC reel. Corrado, let's just go back and look real quick. Whoops, not the regular. Regular Corrado's, I think, 7. Oh, it's 7.6.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Debo. If you decide to take your DC reel down to Panama City and go saltwater fishing, they're not rated for saltwater, correct?
That I have no clue. The saltwater fishing in Iowa's been really slow, so I haven't done a lot of it. I honestly don't know that. I'm sorry. I don't keep up on them.
Well, the reason I ask, is sometimes in retail, people will pick up something like, is this all right to take the family vacation? We're going to Destin. We might want to try to catch a shark on the beach. And then they come back and my reel's run. So I can't remember. I don't think the DC reels.
I would say probably not, because you're not supposed to be able to get the DC, like the actual side plate of it. You're not supposed to get it wet, like if you drop it or anything.
Correct.
Which sounds kind of stupid, but like once you've got it on there, you shouldn't have an issue unless you like completely submerge it. But I know it's kind of a give and take. But if you look at the Corrado, 7.8 ounces, that's a crappy weight for a reel. Like if you were like talking about regular reel weight and you didn't know this is a DC, you'd be like, oh, that's crummy. But you have to account for that. It's got that whole chip, and like if you take one apart, it's got like a whole round like deal inside there. So that's something to keep in mind too. If you like a real light, small reel, you probably don't want to go with a DC reel at all. Like for example, you look at here, the SLX MGL. This is like what? Yeah, 7.1. But the MGL again, lightweight. So the SLX MGL is made for throwing lighter lures. I do have one. I like it. I need to do a review on this. Good reel, definitely smaller. I remember the first time I casted it felt like strange. I'm like, this feels kind of weird, but
yeah, I like the old Corrado 70. It was pretty nice.
Yeah, I never got to use the silver one, the little one.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good reel.
I never got to use that one.
I don't think it took off though. Like I remember a lot of hype when it come out, and it just didn't take off. Like mostly, I think because of line capacity. Those small spool reels aren't for everybody.
Yeah, so the 70 size is referring to the size of that body, that spool. So if you look here, that's got a very low line capacity. 70 is all you're getting out of 14 compared to like a normal lose or whatever with like a 32 millimeter spool. You've got like 110, 120. So a lot of people just don't really like that size, much smaller in the hand. But okay, let's jump over, check comments, questions. What do we have here? Anything going on? Baitman thinks, so I think you're answering questions. Oh, Hellabass in here. Baitman 2 nights in a row.
I know. I don't know what's got in me. I went like 2 months and didn't upload a video earlier this year. But you know how it is. Life happens.
Yeah, it does, man. It sucks. Sometimes it
I finally bought my house. That was a big deal, man.
I saw that. Congratulations.
So, yeah, I didn't have to move the bait room. Thank God. That's just a whole day process right there. But,
were you doing like the rent to own type thing and then just
purchase? Yeah, sure did. And you know what? It actually worked out. And I was trying to own from a friend, so I wasn't too worried. But when it gets crunch time, he basically said, "I'm gonna give you X amount of years," and so you get the financing. And man, I worked a lot of hours building windows and everything. And I tell my YouTube guys, y'all helped out with donations and buying some merch, and that house. I remember I was here for like maybe a year and a half, and just really got the bait room going. And one night I was fixing to plug in the stream, and I heard my hot water heater went out, and I just got my YouTube check that day. So those guys bought me a water heater, man.
Yeah, dude, it helps. It helps a ton. Like I couldn't do like the rods and reels and stuff. I couldn't do it if it wasn't for you. I couldn't afford it. Essentially, what I get out of YouTube, I put it back in the channel, and I just try to keep stuff rolling.
Oh, you a $20 dono from last week.
You don't owe me anything. I do it because I like you and your channel. You're good people. Talking about Tyler, hook sets are free. We are going to get you in here, brother. I was going to hit you up. Like I said, life kind of kicked me in the balls here, but I will get you on here soon. I appreciate you, man. He's a huge tackle nerd as well. Takes beautiful tackle pictures.
Yeah, dude, he's a good guy. He reaches out to me on Instagram all the time. I like positive people. He's one of those people.
Same. Mario with another donation. I'm sending you more cash because you're one of my favorite fishing channels. Debo, have a good night, guys. See, it's people like you. People like you, good people, is why I do this. I think YouTube and I can't even think of the social media gets a bad rap, and it does. Like, there's a lot of stuff I blow over that there's people that like I would love to just jump through the computer and slap. But I just ignore those people and do it for people like this, for people like Mario, for people like.
I used to be that guy. I used to be I got triggered and I didn't know when to stop, and now I just glance over it and go, man, I'm glad I don't do that anymore. Now, sometimes people can ruffle my feathers in some Facebook groups, and sometimes I have to get Hellabass in line every now and then. But other than that,
Dude, I'm not far from him, and I drive up there and slap him around for you.
He's a cool dude. Rich is a great guy, and he's been around a long time, man. I've known of Rich's name for quite a few years.
Super nice guy, very welcome to me. We need to get him on my channel too.
Yeah, dude. Get a fatal three-way one night.
Oh, dude, that'd be awesome. Retro Bassin we were just talking about earlier. Evening Bass and Buzz, Debo and Baitman. Retro, I'm going to have you on the channel as well. I appreciate all your historical knowledge. Baits, dude, that stuff is awesome. Okay, so let's see if we can get through. Goodness gracious, we are burning time. I can't believe it. All right, we got through reels. Last time with me and Dizzle, we got through tackle. We got through reels. Now we're going to go through rods. A lot of these don't have very much. Okay, so the 13 Fishing Defy Black. I don't think I have one of these. I got one of these on sale, one of the 13s. Let me check.
Chris Russ, I'd love to come to Pella. I was actually going to go to the Knoxville Nationals this year, but I had to use it the last of my vacation time with the house closing and whatnot. But next year, I'm going to come. I'm just not going to call off till then, so I can just call off and go fishing with Debo.
It wasn't this one. I got the Fate Black. They had these on sale super cheap, and I think this was a mistake because these are the new version of these. I haven't done a review on it. I'm gonna have to go look here real quick. I did see these at a local tackle shop. Randizzle and I were looking at these.
Yeah.
The 13 Fishing Defy Black, and they've got a white one that I hadn't seen.
Right.
Let's just jump over and look.
So that's where, as a retailer, 13 Fishing weren't bad rods. I sold a lot of them. Got a lot of them returned. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Listen, all rods break. People slam them indoors or I've set hooks on stumps, but I was always confused. They had so many different models. You got 13 Defy Black, 13 Fate, 13
and they don't
Omen.
make sense. Like,
yeah.
So you've got Defy Black crankbait. Okay, those make sense. Defy Black swimbait. Okay, so you've got 13 Envy Black.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Fate Black. So this is the one I have. So this is a $79 rod versus the $59 Defy Black.
So I think the Envy series, what they did, remember they had number 8 tackle?
Yep.
And they did away with that. Then they have 13 Fishing Envy, I think took place in number 8. Now they're bringing number 8 tackle back. So,
I've still got a number 8 Hellbent. That was my favorite rod that I ever owned.
They're really not; those were not bad rods at all.
I got it on $19 on a Black Friday Thanksgiving sale at Gander, $19, and it's still like my favorite rod I've ever had. Number 8 Hellbent, and there was like what was the Blackout? The Hellbent I think was like a $70 rod, and the Blackout was a $99 rod.
Yep. And I think the Hellbent was a better rod.
That's funny. Okay, so I have this one. I need to use this. I haven't even used this rod yet. I feel like a dork. Haven't even used it yet, but there's the white one that Randizzle and I saw. So that's the Fate V3. So I don't know what the difference is between the Fate and the Fate V3, if it's the same thing or not. I haven't looked a bunch, but
I bet that means version 3. They've had several different versions of the Fate rod.
So I was gonna get this one. We could do like a 3-way, the best Snow White rod out there. We've got the Veritas, the TP1X, or the 13 Fate V3. They've all gone to this like white and black motif, which is kind of cool. You know
the cool story about the Veritas? The guy that designed the rod, you know why it's white?
I have no clue why.
He wanted a white rod, and it's the same color of his BMW he drove. So the color code on a Veritas rod matches up to a white BMW.
That's funny. Talk about a nerd putting his car colors on the rods. I love it. That's a tackle nerd. Okay, so the 13, I haven't used this one, but if it's anything like the other ones, I personally haven't had trouble with any of the 13 stuff I've used. I feel like from the stuff I've used, they've kind of got a bad rap. But, I can't speak for everything. Casting reels, I feel like I haven't heard much out of them for reels either. I think they just released, the new A2. I know it has a little bit different handle shape to it, but I have the Concept A. I liked it a lot. And then I had the SZ that I didn't have any issues with. I didn't use it as much. Again, going to the flashy stuff, I wouldn't, pick that as a color or anything, but
the Inception Reel was a huge seller back in the day. And I actually told a lot of guys I thought it was the best reel they made. Some people may disagree, but I thought the Inception 129 or something like that.
This one?
Yeah, it's silverish. No.
Oh, no, that's
Inception.
the regular
the one that says bestseller. Yeah.
Yep.
I thought that was a really good reel.
I heard a lot of people had that one. Okay, so we're in reels, 13 Fishing. I don't know what happened to them. I haven't had bad luck with them yet, but Fury, we've talked about it a ton. I would agree. I think Baxter would agree. These are one of the best, like $100-ish rods you can buy. They're built well. They don't have a bunch of extra crap on them. They're straight. You get cork on it. A lot of them you don't see cork. You see EVA on the $100 rods. The only thing I don't like, I hate like the U-shaped bait keeper. Yeah,
I've got to where I don't even use a bait keeper. It's just my reel.
I hook it. Yeah, dude. I was just gonna say I hook it right on the top of my reel.
I try not to. That keeps me from judging rod companies based on their hook keeper too.
Yeah, what he's talking about is I do the same thing, and it scratches up your reel. You can see I've already got this loose. I haven't had it that long. I've already scratched it up, but that's what I do too. I pretty much hook all my lures there, unless you've got a treble hook lure. However, I will say that I am a fan of having the lure keeper down here on the treble hook baits, which I usually hate because I don't want anything down there where I'm going to grab. Is the 13 that way? Yeah, the 13 is that way. I hate having a lure keeper down here anywhere where I'm going to grab, because if I grab there and I don't have a cover on it, like you're grabbing hooks, like I just instinctively grab here. But having it back here, it's nice because I use those Velcro lure covers. So if you hook a treble hook bait here and put your lure cover over it, you don't have any issues with rod socks. Some of the rods where they've got the lure keeper up here,
rod sock gets stuck.
Yep, and then you've got your rod sock getting stuck in treble hooks and stuff unless you use those Velcro things, and still sometimes they'll get pushed down. So it's kind of like a give and take. Also, I know some people don't like, let's see, that one doesn't have it that way. Kistler's is like this, but it's not open. This is that KLX that I just picked up. You see how the lure keeper is pushed all the way down to the rod? I know some people don't like these where they're up a little bit because, like, if you cast or get a backlash, your line can get stuck under there. And if you don't notice it, it can be rubbing on that. And even if it's a little bit sharp, you can rough up your line and even break it, I suppose. But some people don't like that when it's right here because you can get line stuck in it. So it's kind of a give and take. You know, if you're somebody where you have issues with that, you might want like a U-shaped keeper like this. But it's totally just preference. Just, I guess, some food for thought for you all. But yeah, the Fury rods, solid rod, I would have no trouble telling somebody to buy one of those. Same thing for the spinning rods. I actually haven't used any of their spinning rods. Have you used their spinning stuff at all?
Yes. Believe it or not, I have. Want mine. I actually convinced my fishing partner to buy one. Shout out to him. He won a derby today, 18 pounds for fish. But again, Kentucky Lakes turned to a finesse lake, and I really like the Fury spinning rod. Again, I'm not going to go spend the money for, you know, the high-end St. Croix or NRX or spinning rod because I don't use it as much. But I feel for $119, man, it's hard to beat a Dobbins Fury spinning rod. I can do about anything I want to with it.
Yeah, and the thing is for me too is I always go braid to a leader on my spinning rod, so I feel like you're already going to get extra sensitivity there, even if you don't have like a super expensive spinning rod with braid on. Like, you literally can't deny the difference between straight fluoro and straight braid. Like, it's just so much more sensitive. So that's another thing to think about. If you go braid to a leader on your spinning rods, you might not have to spend as much, you know, or be worried about spending as much if you're running braid. So I don't see any donations. Just wanted to make sure. See some people saying 13 fishing is not good. 13 fishing is good. It's kind of like anything. Like, there's people love it. Some people hate it.
Some people love the NWO. Some people hated the NWO.
I was black and red wolf pack all the way, dude. Okay. We digress. Like I said, we'd have 2 people watching if we stream 24 hours. Jacob Wheeler, Ducket. I have never owned a single Ducket rod. So when it comes to Ducket stuff, I am not the guy to ask. Have you used any Ducket stuff?
I broke a few of them. How's that answer?
Am I showing them? Oh, crap. I'm sorry, guys and gals. Here we go. Ducket, Jacob, you broke a few, huh? Are they known for that? Are they?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. Look, they're good rods. They're nice and light, but Duckets are one of the most brutal rods. You know, there's trade-offs too. You get super light and all that, there's going to be a trade-off. I've just never been a fan of the Ducket rods. I don't mean they're bad or you shouldn't buy them. Just, I feel like their actions are really moderate. Like, their heavy is very parabolic. So I will say this: if you're getting a pinch, need a crankbait rod, can't find one, the place is selling some Duckets. Their medium heavy makes a pretty good crankbait rod. Just saying, they're very parabolic rods. But then again, Jacob Wheeler has won more money in the last year on these rods than I'll ever win. So, hey, you know, they can't be that bad.
Take it for what it's worth, right? Yeah, I hear you there, man. That's why I often feel like I'm out of my lane sometimes when I'm given like advice on some of this stuff, because like you're saying, KVD reel, KVD could have the old 1980s pistol grip reels with Zebcos and just smack me over the head with it.
Yeah, imagine what he would do with Shimano and Loomis. Someone told me, and I said, I'm not so sure he'd won any more tournaments. I said, I think it's just where he's putting his lure at. Yep.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, the rod looks good. Everything that I'm looking at, I mean, I don't see anything that jumps out or screams. I mean,
they're clean.
Pretty normal looking rod. I'm not a huge fan of the blue. I've got a couple of the Serrano rods, and I'm not like a huge fan of the baby blue, but I like that everything else is like kind of clean and sleek on it. I love the reel seat here thing here. I'm gonna have to talk about that more too, but I'm not a huge blue fan. Like, I just like all boring black when it comes to a rod. Like, I'm very boring.
I don't do UK colors at all.
Damn Brits.
Believe it or not, though, I did not have any. I had one carrot stick, you know, it's for my love of orange. I had one carrot stick. That was it.
I'll tell you the only other rod, and I'm kidding about Dan Brits. I love people from across the big pond. I've actually got a couple guys that I've become friends with over the internet that are from England. I'd love to go there. But the Skeet Reese, the old Skeet Reese honeycomb yellow rods from Wright
McGill's. Yeah.
Dude, they had $100 rods at Dick's on sale for $50. Solid rods for the buy. Solid rods at 50% off. I don't think they even make those anymore, but
yeah, they weren't bad, really.
iRod Genesis. I haven't used a single iRod rod. Have you?
Yes. I haven't used the Genesis 3, but the other iRods I really liked. I thought they were balanced pretty well. Their bottom contact rods I like. And they make some really good finesse crankbait rods, and they make a really good jerkbait rod.
So the thing I wouldn't like about this, and me and my dad differ on this, and again, it's a lot of time, it's seriously going to be personal preference on a lot of things. I like rods with a longer trigger, real trigger here. And I notice, so I bought a number of Powell rods. I know Powell, I was saying before with Duckett, Powell was known for like some of their rod tips breaking. I've got some of the old Powell rods that I love. My dad likes them too. So I haven't had issues like with the newer stuff. I haven't used their newer ones, but the thing that I don't like about the Powell rods is they have this little tiny trigger here. I personally hate it. My old man loves it. If he could have rods with no trigger, that's what he'd have. Whereas I'm a guy, I like a little bit longer trigger, like on the Kistler or like the Veritas. They've got a little bit longer real trigger there. That's just me. Like, I just feel like if I need to winch on something or swing as hard as I can, I'm not going to slip off. Then, like, you know, you talk to people like my old man, he's like, I hate it. I wish they didn't have it. Or I like the real small ones, like the real low profile. So that's the only thing I could see on here. Otherwise, I mean, it looks like a cool rod. I don't see anything else that kind of jumps out.
My deal on the triggers is some are just, they're not as smooth. I don't know about the length, but I've had a couple rods where I actually got old All-Star, which I love the rod, but after a while, it's a topwater rod, and I'm walking the dog a lot. You know, like all-day tournament deal. I get a rash down there. It'll hurt me.
And some of them, like, it really does depend. Like, that's why I really tell people to get them in hand, because some of them, like, so when I hold a rod, I'm guessing you're probably the same as I hold my, I can't really do it here to show you, but I hold my pinky finger behind the real trigger on most all rods, and then I keep my finger up here so I can finger the line. That's how I hold it. Some of the rods, like, they push this too far back, and like if I try to do it, and like I said, I don't have monster hands, and I don't have like tiny hands. I can barely, you know, I can palm a basketball. But some of them, like, they put that trigger so far back, it's just not comfortable. It's like I'm stretching. Yeah. So then some of them I'll just go in front of it. Like, I'll literally have to do that if they put that too far back. So that's why it's like hard. You know, I tell people, like, try to get in the store and get your hands on one of these if you can first, if you've never used, you know, a certain brand. But they look good. I like the iRods. I think this was Fred Rombanus was with iRod for a long time, right?
He was. He's now with Dobbins.
Yeah, he's a Dobbins guy.
Andy Morgan, Fred Urbanus, you know, Matt Newman. He's a huge swim bait guy, and Paul. He's the owner of the company.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yeah, so Matt Newman's
cool.
All their big swim bait rods are really nice and tuned from a guy that chunks big baits. So speaking of Debo, I am going to have to bow out. I got to go get me some more lemonade.
Get out of here.
I got to start my stream up. When you get done, you guys can come over there. If not, no big deal. Going to do an unboxing. Anytime you ever want me to jump on here, you let me know, and you're welcome on my channel anytime. And I just want to thank you very much for letting me be on here.
Yeah,
you're always welcome. I watch every Saturday because I kind of time mine so I can stream after you, so I get to watch your stuff before.
Well, I will try to. I always try to go 7:30. So if you're doing like 8:30, whatever, don't ever worry about jumping over mine. Get out of here, and if anybody that wants to watch Baxter, feel free to jump my channel. I still need to do a giveaway. What are we at for time? An hour 20.
Yeah, let y'all stay with Debo. Don't come jump over to me. Y'all stay with Debo. I'll be streaming. I'm not going to stream long tonight. I got a dirt race I'm going to catch. But thank you again, Debo. You guys send him some donations so he can load up that Tackle Warehouse card.
Thank you, brother, for jumping on. We'll talk to you later.
No problem, bud.
All right, that is Baxter. If you guys and gals haven't checked out Baxter the Bait Man, super good dude, very humble, nice guy. I can't say enough good things about him. He's a good cat. And he has a ton of knowledge when it comes to lures. So let's do a giveaway. So in case anybody does want to go watch Baxter, I will tell you to jump my stream and go watch his because he's doing an unboxing. Let me pick a random viewer. I don't even know how I'm going to pick tonight. Usually I have somebody pick. All you have to be is present. I'm just going to scroll through and pick somebody who's kind of recent here. Actually, here, let's do that. Everybody just, let's see. Let's do a piece of trivia. Tonight we're going to go for the folks who watched the whole time. What did I say my favorite Shimano reel was? First person that I see on my screen. No, Fishing the Southeast, you can't win. I've already sent you a separate box anyway. What was my favorite Shimano reel? First person that I see on my screen. I'll call it out and see if everybody agrees. E7. Oh, right under Fat Boy. Fat Boy, you can't win either. I see William Sully right under Nick. Does everybody see William Sully, the E7? 200 E7. Green Corrado E7. So I see a bunch of people throwing the stuff in there now. Okay, was it William? Do you all see William? Nick, do you see William in there as the first? TJ Ellis says Tequila Sunrise. I love it, man. That was my pops' favorite worm color. It was William Sully. Fish in the Southeast, verified it. Okay, cool. William Sully, hit me up on Instagram. If you don't have Instagram, let me know in the chat real quick. I can drop my email in there, but Instagram's the easiest, so I can take a screenshot to remember it. I get a bunch of emails and stuff, so sometimes it gets kind of cluttered. Somebody said pitch to wood. Yep, you was first. Okay, we're going to keep going. Anybody that wants to stay on, I would love to have you on and talk. I'm going to talk through the rest of this tonight. We're just going to get it done. My girls are up there watching a movie. So let's see. The Shimano X Pride. I do have an X Pride rod. I have one. I have the heavy. Is it a 7.4? I believe it's a 7.4 heavy is what they make in the Shimano. Must be a 7.2. I thought it was a 7.4 off the top of my head. Must be the 7.2. 7.2 heavy. I've liked it. I mean, it is sensitive, comfortable. I know some people like the cork. Some people don't really like the cork. For me, oftentimes, I don't really care about what this is made of, but how this all fits together, if that makes any sense. So when you look at like a rod here, you imagine holding it. Sometimes they've got space in here. If they've got like weird things that like tighten on. If all this is streamlined and feels good in my hands, like I was saying before, when I hold a rod, I'm holding it like this, and I can't really like put it on camera and show you. You know, I hold it like this. So if all this isn't up here because I finger my line, I have my middle finger on the bottom, index finger on top. If this can't ride here and feel like smooth and nice, even if it's an awesome rod, like I don't want to use it. It could be an $800 rod, and if it hurts or it's uncomfortable to hold here, I don't care how much it is or how sensitive it is. And that was one thing I noticed about this. It's got like this, and maybe it'll say in here, this material here. So it almost feels like a rubbery, like I don't even know how to explain it. Let's see if it says what it is here. Hand rod fully redesigned. The same areas, for material overall, maintaining the power. I don't know if it says, I might have skipped over it, but like the regular, so it's not like a graphite feel to it. You know how like the graphite will feel like a slick. It almost feels kind of like rubbery, almost like tacky. So I don't know what that material is, if that's the CI4 like proprietary material or whatever. I don't know what it is, but I really like the feel of that. And it all kind of melds together. I noticed like that rod in my hand felt really good. It was sensitive, and you know, it should be for a $260 rod, I think is what the 7.2 was. $270 rod, you know, so it's not cheap, but feels good. Oops, that's the medium light. Yeah, 270. Felt good. Oh, cripes, I'm maybe on the wrong one still. Heavy. So yeah, it felt good in hand. I really liked it. I know some of the Shimano stuff's kind of backed up, but I would certainly recommend it if you have the money. If not, like Baxter was saying, the Intenza, which is like $120. Whoops, casting rods, not reels. Learn to read, Debo. The Intenza has felt really good in hand. I really like that one. I like it's the black and red too. Where are we at here? So here's the Intenza, $129 rod. And it's got this, they call it like the alpha grip stuff. It almost feels like a real flat Velcro. So it's like that kind of feel, but it doesn't hurt or anything. Like it's not real scratchy. That's kind of like what it feels like a rubbery type of Velcro. But it's a good rod. And again, like when it joins together here, it's nice and smooth, nice and flat. I've liked the Intenza a lot. I haven't shown it a bunch on my channel. The days I've taken it out, I haven't caught stuff. I've shown it a few times, but super comfortable rod. I really like that one too if you're looking for a less expensive version. It was nice and sensitive too. So let's see. Let's get through a couple others here. What do we have for comments and such? Make sure nobody donated. I don't want to miss any donations. Like I said, I appreciate you guys so dang much. Commenting, supporting me, leaving thumbs up, donations. Like I said, you kind of get me away from the real world tonight. It's been kind of a rough couple weeks for old Debo, but you'll have that. Sometimes life kicks you in the balls. Got to keep moving forward. Let's see. So, okay, the SLX rods. Now, here's an interesting one. So a step below the Intenza is the SLX. I had the 7.2 heavy for frogging that I liked a lot. This is exactly what I used for frogging for a year. They've got 5 of these in stock. I would highly recommend it. I liked it. I didn't have any issues with it. 0 issues. Now, so Fat Boy Fishing was on my stream a little while ago, a couple lives ago. I don't know if he's still on. Nick, for example, hated it because he said he felt it was too tip heavy. So he hated it. You know, a lot of it's going to depend on, you know, your personal opinion, how it feels in hand. From my use with it, though, I really like the SLX rod, the 7.2 heavy that I had. Again, I used it for frogging, didn't have a single issue. So it looks pretty standard, you know, nothing too crazy. You're out of the norm with it. You know, your EVA butt section and then your grip, kind of your normal. Again, I like kind of a little bit longer reel trigger. Everything fit tight. And I noticed they do theirs a little bit different here. I can't enlarge that. But their lure keeper they put on the bottom, so it's an open deal. So again, if you have a backlash or on casting, you don't have to worry about your line getting caught in that lure keeper up top. So they just flipped it around and put it on bottom. But I like the SLX rod. I didn't have any complaints with it. I got mine for half off. Shields here in Iowa had a sale. I don't know how long ago that was, 3 years ago or whatever when I got it. During Christmas, they were 50% off. So it was $49. I got a $100 rod for it. So, you know, look for those deals and stuff. You can find those deals. But I didn't have any issues with mine. Zodius. This is one I get a ton of questions on. I think this is a step below the X Pride, I would guess. I mean, the Zodius, I've never used one, but I would recommend it, you know, from the people that I've heard who have used it and, you know, kind of the reputation in the industry. I've never heard a person say, dude, the Zodius rods are just complete crap. You know, maybe a little bit too expensive, but, you know, as far as the handle, so it's like the, the Poison Adrena kind of has this like handle type deal thing with it. I think there was a St. Croix that had kind of that same deal of like the weird, you know, kind of handle deal to it, like the Legend. Was it the Legend Extreme? I don't remember. I've never used one, but, you know, from using the SLX, the Intenza, and the X Pride, I've liked all the Shimano rods, so I wouldn't think that this one would be too much different. Now that does, as long as this isn't sharp here, that looks like that might be metal. As long as those parts there aren't sharp where I'm going to be laying my finger, that could be a deal breaker. As long as that's smooth. Rod looks cool. I like the black and red. That's pretty cool there too, the Zodius thing on it. Cool looking rod. I would like to try one. Okay, so what do we have here? Let's jump over to questions real quick. I think we've only got a couple rods left, and the rest of the stuff, I think there's only a few things, so I might just stretch this out to 2 hours. It might be one of the only times I've ever done that. Or maybe we'll just stop at rods. What do we have after rods? Maybe we'll stop at rods, and we'll just do another night of going over these and then just talking about whatever else comes into play. So the Zodius, I was going to look at comments real quick. How about the Shimano Zodius? Oh, we just got to that, Sarge. People talking about the reel. What do you think of the Veritas? Thomas Palmer asks. I've had 2 of the old versions. I liked both of them. And I've got one of the new Veritas, the frog version, that I like. So far, I've liked them all. The old Veritas was interesting. They were a little bit heavier. They had like a metal ratcheting reel seat, which is kind of cool. Like it would click as you tighten it down. I think some people didn't like that. I know the newer ones, they talk about how they're lighter, and it was a little bit heavier rod, but it never broke on me. Veritas is an A+. My guy G-Fan says, what's your favorite finesse jig setup, Debo? From Jared Maynard. I like a medium heavy that's rated for lures up to like 5/8 or 3/4. 5/16 is my favorite finesse jig to throw all around. If I could only pick one, 5/16 as far as when I'm fishing from the bank. So like that 5/8, or I'm sorry, yeah, 5/8 or 3/4 rated medium heavy rod, like does the best for me. Like you can flip and pitch a 1/4 ounce or a 5/16 jig, no problem at all. I run 15-pound line, and then I mean the reel is just kind of your choice, but that's what I like for a rod. So, for example, right there, Sean Z says, I hate the triggers on the X Pride, and I thought they were really comfortable. That's why I tell you all, try to get it in your hand if you can. I haven't noticed anything with those rods, but again, it comes down to personal preference. Okay, let's jump back over. Let's see what else we have left on rods. St. Croix. Damn, I'm not the person to have on here. We should have Randizzle on. He's got both of these. As far as St. Croix, I had never owned a St. Croix until last year. And I got the St. Croix Triumph spinning rod, and I've loved that rod. Feels really good. I got it for like my Finesse, like the smaller Finesse stuff. I've never used a single St. Croix rod. Randizzle has quite a few. I know he likes the Bass X and the Mojo. He had whatever the higher price St. Croix was. And I know the only complaint he had was it was under warranty, which was fine. I think he paid $50, something like that. Where am I at? St. Croix. I think he paid like $50 or whatever for it. And it was like a $200 rod, Avid. It was the Avid that he broke. You know, like he was casting with it and it broke, and it took like 2 months for him to get a rod. 2 months, 3 months, something like that, like a long time. That was his only complaint. Otherwise, he loved the rod. It was just that it sucked waiting 3 months to get another rod. But, you know, for a $250 rod, 200 and whatever, I think he had the Avid X. This is the one he had, Avid X. For, you know, $220 rod, you know, $50 is a good deal to get that replaced. But if you're getting, you know, a $99 rod, a lot of times you're not going to get that warranty. But he liked it. It was a good feeling rod. The Bass X I know has been really popular. I think I've heard that some of their rods are a little bit heavier though, and I think the Bass X was one of them. It doesn't show weight on here, darn it. If any of you have used the Bass X, I know the Bass X is the $100 version, and then the Mojo is like $120, $140. He's got like 3 of these. He loves his Mojo. He's got the jerk. Actually, it's this one. He's got the jerkbait rod with a 13 fishing Concept C, the white one is. He loves it. He loves that. You know, he's big on being able to cast it without using his thumb. Like he likes to just cast it and have it be good. He doesn't like to feather, you know, the spool a lot. He's never had issues with that setup. You know, even throwing like smaller jerkbaits and stuff. So I know he likes the Mojo. I've not used them, but I've heard good stuff. I think the only thing I remember is the Bass X is a little bit heavy. I don't think it says what type of. So it does have the Fuji reel seat, aluminum oxide guides, which is good. So just like the old ceramics and stuff. Some of them you'll notice like they'll skimp out on like the guides and stuff when you get some of the cheaper rods. So if you're getting like the Alkanite, or I think Alkanite is what Fuji calls theirs. The off-brand stuff is just going to call aluminum oxide. It's the same thing. Those are going to be good durable guides. You've got other guides that can be harder, that can be lighter. You've got sick guides, all kinds of stuff that you can get into. But as far as a $99 rod, as long as you've got like an aluminum oxide or alkanite, those are good. I mean, the rod altogether looks cool. This could be a deal for me. Some of the rods I don't like when they do this. When I lay my finger here, sometimes my finger is resting on like these screw things. So some rods I don't like that. I guess it would just depend on how my hand sits on it, but they're good looking rods. So let's see if we have any other comments. I think we're probably going to close up shop here. I heard my old lady just got home. Let's see. Bass X. So Nicholas, thank you for commenting on that. He said the Bass X is tip heavy. I feel like I've heard that. I've heard they're tip heavy and are heavier. Brandon said the same thing. So yeah, that's one thing I've heard about the Bass X. I've heard they're good rods, just a little bit heavier. Mike, what did Mike have to say? If I remember correctly, Tactical Bassin recommends X Pride in medium for jerk baits. You might have been helping somebody else out there. Thank you. Yeah, and Tactical Bassin, I would trust those guys in the higher end stuff. I know they use a ton of that. I've never talked to those guys or anything, but those dudes have loads of knowledge. I know they've got way more gear than I do too, so I would certainly trust what they're saying if they're talking about some of those. Dersh with the donation. Thank you, sir. I'm a big fan of St. Croix. Their Premier rod for $150 is really good. St. Croix Premier. Let's jump over and look at that one real quick. I don't know that I've used a St. Croix Premier. I've used some of Randy's of these, the Mojo specifically, and I liked it. What am I doing here? Casting rods. Saint Crooks. You ever hear anybody call it Saint Crooks? It's not Saint Crooks. Okay, so which one did he say it was? The Premier for $150. Make sure I don't pass it here. Mojo, Inshore, St. Croix Premier. Oh, and it's got the full cork. You don't see that a lot, too. I know a lot of the old school guys love the full cork, and there's some people that just love that full cork feel. See, I like that. I like how the cork goes all the way up there so it's not showing those screw pieces. So hopefully your finger rests close to that. I like that it's got a little bit longer trigger. Looks clean. I mean, a lot of the St. Croix rods are, pretty clean looking. They don't have a lot of stuff. I like that. Not fancy, flashy, crazy colors and stuff. What was the rod? Was one of these like $500 up here? Look at this one. Woo! Oh, see, I thought the Legend Extreme had the weird handle. Doesn't St. Croix have? Oh, here it is. Oh, the Legend Extreme. That's the one I was telling you all about. You can get a Legend Extreme for only $630. Oh my gosh, I'd be scared to break that thing. Yeah, I know they have like the weird handle grip too. And I think I want to say on this, like the Legend Extreme, it takes like 2 days or something like that. I think Mr. Bass actually was talking about this too. I know it takes it's like a multiple day process or something for one of these. I don't know if he's still in here. He could probably talk to it. I've never used one, but damn, they look cool. It looks like an alien rod. That's pretty neat. Okay, let's jump back over. So Dersh, thanks for dropping that in there. I have not used that one. Okay, I think we're kind of winding down here. Wrong screen, Debo. I don't know what I did there. Screen. I must not have had the screen up for one of them. Sorry. Screen. Everybody's saying screen. I don't know which one I didn't have the screen on. I'm sorry. Did I miss something? Let me know. Did I miss something on there? Upgraded rod. Could hear the braid coming through the eyelets. Thought something was wrong. Thanks for streaming. Hey, Debo, caught my first fish ever blow up. Ooh! First frog fish always scares you, but once you catch one, you're hooked. Have you ever used Phoenix Feather Rod? Yeah, the Legend Extreme was Mr. Bass's favorite. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's funny. Mr. Bass saying he had to cut his and have to replace it after the tip slipped down. Yeah, a lot of companies will do that because they don't want you like trying to fake that you broke. Oh, okay. So CJ Scarborough, let me mark that. So a lot of people or a lot of companies will do that. They'll make you cut the reel. They don't even make you send it back, but they'll make you cut it like right here, cut it in half and send a picture of that rod or like right above the specs, cut it right there with a saw and show them. Because they had, before what people were doing is they were saying it was broke and they weren't making people, not St. Croix I'm saying, but companies were doing that and then sending the rod and the rod wasn't even broke. It was a different rod. So people were essentially having a rod where nothing was wrong with it and then getting a brand new rod. Unfortunately, there's a few bad eggs that ruin it for the good eggs in the carton. But that's what a lot of companies will do now is they'll make you, instead of sending it back to them because there's no sense in sending them a broken rod, they'll make you cut it there to prove that it's, actually broke. So, okay. So CJ Scarborough said, how about a $5 for the Arc rod story? I haven't told that yet. I was going to save it for the review. I've never got around to it. So Arc was super nice. There was a point in time where I was thinking about trying to reach out to them to see if, they would want to work with me or anything, because I had used a bunch of them. I had a sniper rod that I got from a buddy. I picked up another sniper rod. I had the Viper. Actually, I had three sniper rods. I bought 2 of them after my buddy gave me his because he went to all Shimano at that time. So I had the free one. I got 2 more of the Vipers, or I'm sorry, not Vipers, the Sniper, which is like I want to say a $200 rod, a Viper, and I loved them. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to get some of their new stuff. Actually, we can jump over. I still have the screen up. I loved their rods. It was the Invoker Pro, I think, the gray one. Lancer Pro. So I know they kind of changed some names in there. So I got some of these. Feel of it was great. Feel in hand is good. I hadn't had any issues with my rods. again, pretty normal, nothing too crazy, out of the ordinary. The snipers I like because they had like a contoured EVA, really good feel to them. I don't see anything that really resembles that. Kind of the Brandon Cobb, but it was even more like indented in, that they like sanded away the EVA. So those snipers felt amazing in hand. Loved them. They were light. So I bought some of these Lancer Pros. Everything was good until I noticed I was out with Randizzle on a trip, and every time I was flipping and pitching, and they don't show it here, you guys won't be able to see it on here anyway. I'll save that for a video where I actually show you the difference. But I kept noticing like my line kept getting frayed, and I'm like, dude, I don't understand. Like I check, and whenever I tell everybody to do this. Whenever you get a new rod in the mail, make sure you go down with the flashlight, or like Jim Tackle Junkie shared the tip. Take a Q-tip and run it around the front and back side of your line guides, because if there's any cracks or chips in it, it'll pull those little hairs on the Q-tip, those little fibers. It'll stick in there and it'll pull off, and you can tell that it's not smooth. Or you can just visually inspect them. That's what I've always done, is I take a flashlight and then look from the front, like the tip down at each guide. And then I turn it around and look from the back on each guide to make sure that each one isn't chipped or cracked or anything. Because if you have that, you might not notice it, and it might be one of the middle guides in the rod. If it's got a chip or something in there from shipping, if they didn't, put bubble wrap or whatever in there, you've got a chip in that guide. It's just going to keep fraying your liner. You just keep breaking off. And that's what was happening to me. I was looking at this. I'm like, dude, every single line guide looks perfect. I literally don't understand what's going wrong. Well, then I was snagged on one. The line was fine. I was snagged on one. I was trying to get it out, popping my rod tip and, doing all this stuff. I don't remember if I got it undone or I broke it or whatever, but I brought it up with Phil. I'm like, how is my line frayed all the way up here, like into my rod? Well, when I looked at it, the actual tip here, if you look at the tips on a lot of rods, like let me just grab this Kistler. I know they will have a good tip on their rod. If you look at the tips on, and let me bring up a bigger view of me. If you look at the tips on a lot of rods, and this is probably not really going to show super clear, if it'll focus, right there. So you see right behind the actual tip, that's all pushed down. So if you grab one of your rods and look at the tip right under the, like the metal part right under that round part there you can see it, that little metal piece here. So they're supposed to crimp that. They're supposed to push it down. You can see there how that's flat. Well, with those arc rods, when they first came out, there was they hadn't crimped that, and it was like a tube. So it was like a round piece of that metal sticking out. And what was happening is anytime I would get a fish and it would bend, and I would actually get like the tip of the rod to bend over, my line was coming in contact with that. And when I was reeling in or when I was trying to get a snag out, it was just kept fraying my line, and then my line would break. So I called ARC, they were nice about it. We're like, oh, we're sorry. Like, is it a broke deal? I'm like, no, unfortunately, I think it's this line guide. Like after the second call, I'm like, can you replace it? They're like, well, no, like if you bought it from Tackle Warehouse, you need to talk to them. It was past my 30 days from Tackle Warehouse. So they're like, well, like if you're saying there's nothing wrong with it, you need to contact or if you're saying there's, it's not broke, like it's just not working right, you need to contact ARC. So I'm like, okay, contacted ARC back again. I'm like, okay, so I think I found what's wrong. I'm like, I looked at the tip of it, and it's this metal piece. And they're like, oh, yeah, okay, we actually knew that was a deal. What we can do is go ahead and send you a couple tips, because I bought 2 of those. But like, we can send you a couple tips that you can take off the old tips and replace it. And I'm like, what? I'm like, so I'm an operations manager for a large insurance company. And I'm like, if I had that type of complaint and I told that to a customer, like I would lose my job. Like if you knew of the problem and your way to fix it is just send me tips. Now I understand their point as well, because, when you're a huge company, I don't know if they sent, 10,000 of these out, they probably can't recall all those. It's probably too late now, right? There's probably nothing they could do. So I appreciate the fact that they sent me the tips. They did get the tips sent over. The first one I tried to replace, I burnt and melted the tip of it, so I actually had to just cut it off. So it's a little bit shorter now, but I did get it put on. And then the second one that I broke, I think actually that one I replaced fine, if I remember right. One of them I replaced fine, and the other one I didn't. So it all worked out. I got them fixed. The thing that frustrated me is, as a company, I know those rods don't cost them $100 to make. You know, they're probably looking at what, $20 to make the rod, $30 to make the rod, whatever their overhead is, you know, to give it to a retailer and still make money on it. They've got a big markup, which is fine. You know, they have to make their money as well. But it just irked me that they're like, well, we can't. I'm like, I'll even ship them back for free so you can see like this is a problem. They're like, no, like we knew it happened on a few of them. So that upset me that they knew that and didn't like replace it. I guess that was my biggest gripe, is they should have just been like, oh man, you know what? We knew that was a deal. We'll just send you a couple more that are, you know, updated now. They didn't. They sent me tips. Oh, and instead of like shipping, because I'm like, I can ship the rods back for free. They're like, no, like we can't pay for you to ship them back. I'm like, what? They offered to send me a shirt too. They're like, we can send you a shirt with the tips. I'm like, no, that's fine. Just send me the tips. That's all I need. So it kind of stinks because, like I said before that, I love the rods, and every other rod I'd used before that I didn't have issues with. But that deal kind of rubbed me the wrong way on some of the ARC stuff. But I mean, as far as the actual product, I hadn't had issues before that, and I really, really, really liked their sniper rods. So that is that's the ARC rod story. And again, I'm not trying to talk bad on ARC. There's probably a lot more behind the scenes that I don't know about, you know, as far as the person that I was talking to. And that might have been all that he could do. But, you know, at least they sent me tips. You know, again, I think it's hard for me because I work that kind of stuff every day, you know, with people that have those issues and working escalations and, you know, managing a team of people. You know, for me, if I'd have been like, listen, this was our company's fault, we got to make it right. I'll send you 2 new rods. I'm sorry. Just show me the tips on them, because we already know this is an issue. We know some of the tips are bad, but so that's all I'll say on that. Again, I don't hate him or anything. I'm not trying to talk bad on him, just giving the honest rundown of what happened. So let's see, what else do we have? So we got some people talking about older rods. Yep. Check your older rods. Yeah, especially Creaking Trail Chronicles is talking about that. If you notice something's like your line's getting worn in, a lot of like the older rods would have like the cheap ceramic before they went to like the aluminum oxide. That cheap ceramic, like with braid, not necessarily just braid itself, the braid isn't hard enough to cut grooves into it. But if you fish like dirty, muddy water, especially like river stuff, it's all the silt and sediment, those tiny rocks that get caught in the braid, that essentially makes it like a saw. So once you start putting like rocks and gravel, little tiny pieces of sediment, as that braid's coming through, it's just sawing on your guides. So check that. Thomas Palmer said, I haven't had to cut any in half. The post office has always done that for me. Oh, Mr. Palmer, I'm sorry. Yeah, I've got a couple that have been broke. Unfortunately, I don't know why they don't take more care of those, especially when they say fragile on the outside. You'd think don't do that. Let's see, Hank Parker rod. I've heard a lot of people, Ben, talked about the Hank Parker rod. I've never used it. Crash, hey, my guy Crash Bomber popping in to say, hey, hitting up a new lake tomorrow. Got to get some sleep. We'll go get some sleep, man. Good luck. Thanks for another good stream. Okay, well, I think we're at the end of time here. I want to thank all of you for watching. Still 200 people in here, almost 2 hours. You guys and gals are too damn awesome to stay with me. So go flood Baxter the Baitman's channel. I want to see 200 people go over there right now. He's a super good guy. I'm going to go in for a little bit and check him out. But again, thank you all for watching. I got my winner picked. Hopefully you hit me up on Instagram. But yeah, otherwise I'll do it again next week. Thank you all so much for watching. I love you all. Thanks for getting me away from the real world for a little bit. I will talk to you all next week.